Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to set up your Raspberry Pi 4 with the Android 12 OS. First, you'll need a Raspberry Pi 4 Model B along with the display. I advise you to use any one that you want to use. Also, you'll need an HDMI cord or the plug that sometimes comes with the display. Finally, you'll need a Type-C cable along with the wall charger. Make sure everything is at least 5 volts of power from both. If you're using Windows, you can use the Belina Etcher. If on a Chromebook, use Chromebook Recovery Utility. Make sure you have at least a 8GB SD card. But since OS is a bit large, I advise a 16GB just to be safe. I'm using a 64GB SD card. For most Chromebooks, you can use just the SD card. On some Windows, you can use the SD card. If not, just use the USB flash drive. For the Windows, all you need to do is insert the USB flash drive, then press flash. For Chromebooks, click use local image, then choose a flash drive. You'll need to wait a few minutes, then safely eject the USB flash drive or SD card. Then insert into Raspberry Pi. Then plug the Raspberry Pi into a power source and wait a few seconds. Later on, it will boot. Click through everything you need to do to set it up as I show you. Sometimes you can't use Google Play. You can use an alternative, Aptoide, and that works just as well. If you want to turn this into a Pi phone, then go into Settings. Click System, find Raspberry Pi Settings, then scroll to Screen Rotation, then click 90 degrees. If you're using a 7-inch display, then you're in luck. You can click Enable Touchscreen, then you can go to Display and Settings, then click Font Size, so it'll be easier to read. Then you can activate VNC Server in Raspberry Pi Settings. So that is the reason why you'll need to click the font size, so that way you can read the actual IP address on there. And also, in case you want to use this Raspberry Pi phone remotely. Also, to turn on all this, go on About Tablet, then click Build Number a few times. And it will tell you the amount of times you need to click it more, so that way it'll turn on developer mode. Finally, you have your Raspberry Pi 4 setup, and now you can have a lot of fun. You can go on the internet, you can use Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, you can go on Spotify, you can go on any app that you want to with your Raspberry Pi or Raspberry Pi phone. Wherever you want to use, along with this Android OS, it's pretty amazing. Now I will address some problems with the Raspberry Pi. There are many problems with these things. I mean, sometimes it won't boot at all. Sometimes both lights will not turn on. Sometimes it'll boot, then it'll turn off. So there are many problems with the Raspberry Pi. So if you see sometimes the Raspberry Pi isn't fully booting, sometimes you just need to unplug it and or just remove the SD card and format it and redo the whole process again. Some people do have like a recovery for it, so I advise you to use that with these things, because sometimes it will not function and you'll lose all your data, especially on the Android OS. That is like probably one of the most problematic OSs. It's a really good OS while it's working, but sometimes if you unplug it, if you shut it off wrong, if you unplug it directly from the power source, it will, if you do that more than once, or sometimes I did it only once and then I booted it again and it started malfunctioning. So it's best to scroll down from the top, click the power button and click power off. That way you power everything off safely, everything will be turned off, and in case things are actually installing, you don't have to worry about it corrupting. So that is how I kept it for the longest. The longest I've actually had a Raspberry Pi fully working for at least is 30 days. Mostly because I didn't really just unplug it. Also, like I said, it's Bluetooth and everything. So it is a really powerful device. Now, the one I'm using is currently a 2GB RAM. Some people may use a 4 or 8GB RAM, which is pretty advantageous because you can play a lot of games. I mean, Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox. You can go on just a bunch of apps in general along with this. If you're using a separate OS like the Raspbian or the Raspberry Pi OS full, those are different OSs from each other, but those OSs are pretty good. Just a few differences. Well, actually, a lot of differences. Mainly because it is a whole lot different. I mean, apps, you can't use APKs on the regular OS, the Raspbian OS. You can't install APKs on there. So this is why I advise the Android OS. It is a pretty nice OS, actually, if you use it for a little while. Raspberry Pi is really portable. It's versatile, so you can install just any OS. You can have assorted OSs. So you can just have a SD card, a different SD card for each OS, in case you're wanting to do that. Currently, I only have one SD card that's viable for the Raspberry Pi. But later on, more than likely, I'll get more, so that way it'll be a whole lot easier. Other than that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. So I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Peace out.